Touch Dilek, welcome to Tibet TV's program on Tibet support groups. Today we will discuss on Bharat-Tibet Sahyog Manch. Bharat-Tibet Sahyog Manch, founded on 5th May 1999 under the leadership of Shri Indresh Kumar Ji, is today one of the largest Tibet support groups in India. The organization has been raising awareness on the importance of Tibet's freedom for India's security. So let us discuss in detail about the organization with its patron, Professor Kuldeep Chand Agnihotri Ji, who is currently the Vice Chancellor of the Central University of Himachal Pradesh. Welcome to our show, Professor Ji.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, sir, my first question is obviously about your connection with Tibetan community. So, how did you come into contact with His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Tibetan cause, and what made you an ardent supporter of the Tibetan cause, sir?
You see, as a social scientist, I was already aware of the Tibetan issue and about Param Pavan Dalai Lama Ji. But when I came into Himachal Pradesh, I was principal in a college, and it was Shri Indresh Kumar Ji who floated the idea that we should form an organization to spread the Tibetan freedom movement. And then, as you told, that in 1999 in Dharamshala, Bharat-Tibet Sahyog Manch was floated. But Param Pavan Dalai Lama Ji, I was aware of Param Pavan Dalai Lama Ji and his contribution in Tibetan nationalism and in the freedom struggle of Tibet. Practically, Param Pavan Dalai Lama is symbol of Tibetan nationality. And in India, everybody is aware that Param Pavan Dalai Lama is spreading for a movement for Tibetan cause, though he is not directly spreading that movement, but it gives inspiration for Tibetans and Indians also to fight for the liberation of Tibet. And when we formed Bharat-Tibet Sahyog Manch, then I directly came into contact with Param Pavan Dalai Lama Ji. And afterwards, this movement spread in the whole of India. And we can say some in other parts of the world, in Nepal also. We have some branches in Nepal also. And as you told that this is one of the largest Tibetan support groups in India. Otherwise, there are some other organizations supporting the cause of Tibet. But as far as Bharat-Tibet Sahyog Manch is concerned, we think that for some other countries who are supporting Tibet, it may be in their political interest or it may suit currently for their political purpose. But as far as Bharat or India is concerned, for India, Tibetan issue is not a political issue. Tibet is the lifeline of India and Tibet relations, and now it is under the occupation of China. So it is also in the interest of India to, because in Tibet and in India, the culture is same and traditions are same, and you see civilization is same, faith is same. So it is the interest of India and Tibet also to fight jointly for liberation of Tibet.
Sir, my next question is about the organization. Sir, you are currently the patron of the Bharat-Tibet Sahyog Manch. So, sir, can you tell us about its establishment and aims and objectives? And also, sir, how many regional chapters are there currently, sir?
You see, Bharat-Tibet Sahyog Manch has its branch or chapter in every big city of India, in capital cities, you see in Delhi and in Kolkata and in Chennai, in Jalandhar, especially in northeast states also, because northeast states are just adjoining the Tibet, and it's our purpose to spread the Tibetan movement in northeast states also, because those people, they can contribute more in this struggle. But we have branches also in northwest India, especially in Punjab, Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh and Haryana, and in central India also. We can say that in every neck and corner of the country, we have branches. Some branches may be small branches, and some branches may be big branches and active branches. Some branches may not be so active. But as far as Bharat-Tibet Sahyog Manch is concerned, we are trying to make it a people's movement in India. It's not only, you see, just as I told before, that it's not just only a political question for India. It's a cultural movement also. We are trying that every Indian should be involved in this struggle, as if we are fighting for our own freedom. When Tibet is under occupation of China, we shouldn't feel safe So we think, as far as Bharat-Tibet Sahyog Manch is concerned, we think that we are fighting for our own cause, and the movement is a joint movement of Tibet and India.
Sir, my next question is very important that all Indians must understand it, sir. Tibetan Buddhists and Hindus consider Mount Kailash and Mansarovar Lake as a sacred pilgrimage site, sir. So, sir, your organization stands for, quote and unquote, Tibet ki Azadi or Kailash Mansarovar ki Mukti. So, sir, can you explain our viewers the importance of this slogan, sir?
You see, Kailash Mansarovar and Mount Kailash, as you told, this is sacred place for all Indians. He may be Buddhist, he may be Jain, and he may be Sikh, he may be Hindu, every Indian, if he is interested in the welfare and the civilization of India, for them Kailash Mansarovar is a sacred movement. The first Guru of Sikhs, Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji, it is in the history, and that he went to Kailash Mansarovar and he met there Siddha yogis and other Tibetan tantrics also, and he has a lengthy discussions with them. And you told as Buddhist also, they consider this a Khang Rinpoche, and yes, they you see they do parikrama of Kailash, Mount Kailash. So Kailash Mansarovar, I can say rather that Kailash Mansarovar is Tirth or sacred Tirth for the whole Asia. In history, Asia is called Jambu Dweep. And in Tibetan traditions and old Tibetan texts, there is mention of Jambu Dweep. So Kailash Mansarovar is in the center of Jambu Dweep, we can say, and every people living in Jambu Dweep, leaving some, you see, some people, every other people living in Jambu Dweep, for them Kailash Mansarovar is sacred. And now Kailash Mansarovar is under the occupation of China. And officially, China says that religion is, you see, opium, and we don't believe in all these things. So when they don't believe in Kailash Mansarovar, they don't believe in the culture of Kailash Mansarovar. So it is, I think, illogical and unethical also for China to occupy that place. It is the, as far as Kailash Mansarovar is concerned and Mount Kailash is concerned, the liberation of Kailash Mansarovar is not only concerned with India or Tibet. It is the concern of whole Asia to get that Kailash Mansarovar out of the clutches of China.
Sir, my next question is about political scenario happening in these days, sir. Sir, how important is Tibet's issue to India-China relations in today's time? And also, sir, what policy should the government of India adopt in the case of Tibet, sir?
As I told earlier, that a number of countries in the world, they are supporting cause of Tibet. Some are supporting directly and some are supporting indirectly. For other countries, the Tibetan issue is a political issue. If at one time it suits them, then they will support Tibetan issue. And if next time it doesn't suit them politically or in their own interest, they will leave the issue of Tibet. But as far as India is concerned, for India, Tibetan issue is not a political issue. Because see, the security of India entirely depends upon the freedom of Tibet. If Tibet get freedom, then China will be far away from India. India will be safe and secure. If China is on the roof of the world, you see, Tibet is called also Duniya ki Chat kaha jata hai, roof of the world. If China is sitting on the roof of the world, on the head of Tibet, and then India is always insecure. So we can say that when we in India, we talk about freedom of Tibet, we are not only talking about freedom of Tibet, we are also talking about the security of India at the same time. Both these issues are interconnected. For other countries, as far as America is concerned, or some other countries, those who propagate that Tibet should be liberated and all these things, for them it is a political question. They can leave it, they can, you see, catch it. But for India, we are optionless. It is not in our hand to leave the issue of Tibet and then to catch the issue of Tibet. It is in the interest of security of India to get Tibet free from the clutches of China. I will mention only one instance. When China was occupied, Tibet was occupied by China and forcefully, and Tibetan people, they approached Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru that it is in the interest of India to stop China and to help Tibet that China doesn't get control of Tibet. And then some people in India also told Nehru that we should raise the issue of Tibet and we should try to interfere that China doesn't succeed in her designs. Or fortunately or unfortunately, whatever it is unfortunately for both for India and Tibet that the government at that time didn't think it proper to interfere in that matter. But then first Sarsang Chalak of RSS, he said in a lecture or somewhere talking with some person that Tibet, the freedom of Tibet is essential for preservation of culture of Asia, and now it is our duty because Tibet get into clutches of China. I will not say that all due to India, but somehow if India had decided to interfere at that time, it was possible that China has not did that thing to occupy Tibet. Then RSS Sarchang Shri Guruji, Madhurav Sadasya Golwalkar, he said now it is the duty of India to get Tibet liberated. And I think that is the, supreme caution for Indians to get that work done. And as far as the government of India is concerned, whatever the government of India may be, it may be Congress government, it may be BP Singh government, or it may be BJP government, every government is interested in the liberation of Tibet. The methodology may be different, and somehow, diplomatically, sometimes we use this diplomatic language and other time we use that diplomatic language. But it is constant policy of India government that Tibet should be free from the clutches of China. And I think Parampama Dalai Lama also advocating that as far as for present it should be autonomy of Tibet. Some people say that when Parampama Dalai Lama is himself saying that it should be autonomy of Tibet, why Bharat Tibet Sahaj movement is fighting for the freedom of Tibet? My only expression is that seeing the present scenario in China, Parampama Dalai Lama is only insisting that if China shows Tibet in her map of China, it doesn't matter, but Tibet should be autonomous because at that time Tibet can preserve its culture, its dharma and its monuments, its bihars and all the ancient culture of Tibet. And when time will, time always changes. Time doesn't remain constant. And if the issue of Tibet is alive in the heart of Tibetans, then Tibet may be liberated one day. And as far as government of India, you said that what is the policy of government of India at present for Tibet? I think as far as government of India is concerned, every government of India is interested that there should be peaceful solution of Tibetan issue. And as far as Bharat Tibet Sahaj movement is concerned, we are only concerned that Tibet should be free from the clutches of China.
Thank you, sir. My last question is about your message to our viewers, sir. What roles the Tibet support groups in India should play to strengthen Tibetan freedom movement, sir?
You see, it should be public movement, and Tibetan freedom struggle should also be in the curricula of Indian universities. And it's my personal experience that at present, most policy makers of Indian legislative councils, they are not so much aware of the Tibetan issue, and public at large is not aware of Tibetan issue in a right perspective. And I think that Tibetan support groups and other people who are interested for the welfare of Tibetans and for the freedom of Tibet, we should do that. These things should be propagated in India by public movements and by academic institutions, and there should be departments of Tibetan studies in Indian universities, not only cultural studies, political studies also, because at present Indian people, Indians should know more about the political struggle which is going on in Tibet. Bharat Tibet Sahaj movement is doing within research sources, we're doing for that.
With this, we are going to end our discussion here. I would like to thank Professor for allowing us to do the interview at his residence. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Jashila. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.